So here's the deal. You get a treat. Okay. You get treats, but you gotta stay out of the way while I'm doing this, alright? That's the deal. Also, maybe don't make a mess. Because we're gonna put a couple here. I'm gonna put some on your tree. And we're gonna go from there. You understand? Okay. Hang on, let me move my copy so you don't knock it out of the way. You in there. I'm gonna put the rest up there. And you're gonna be good, alright? You are filthy, lad. Why are you so filthy? Yeah. It's all good. Look, I put them up there for you. You see? Hey. There you go. Good boy. Sup kids, how are you doing today? This video is going to be a little bit of a retread and we're going to re-go over some stuff which I may have gone over in a video in about 6 or 7 years ago now, which seems like a very long time. And I have to apologize for that, but at the same time, that probably was the best video I've ever done. It goes through a lot of emotions and how to solve things and what to do with things, and you know, it's also very highly viewed because it has a celebrity in the title and they think there's a celebrity involved, which there isn't. It's a clever ploy by me, the video creator. I'm gonna put this over here because we have cats in the house. Okay, so I was going to say 5 years ago. The year of concrete 2020, I decided to run 5k. That was my goal. I said to myself, before I turned 30, I was 29, before I turned 30, I should be able to run for 30 minutes. That seems logical, right? That seems right. That seems correct. That seems like any male in his 30s should be able to do if he is in a situation where he is able. You know, if you're not disabled in some way, congratulations. You made the lottery of human being and you're able to move forward with life. Those who are disabled struggle daily on their lives, and I will, you know, always show love for them because they are struggling and, you know, they're powerful, but their life is harder. That's just fundamental. Sorry, off topic. So I made a video called Apologies to Sarah Millican, and that video basically goes into my journey. The way I did it, I did couch to 5k. Hey, buddy. The way I did it was I did a couch to 5k, and I used the voiceover, which was Sarah Millican, to motivate me. And it did motivate me. It also teaches you a very fundamentally easy way to get from not running to running, and 30 minutes isn't a bad time for a 5k. In fact, it's a very good time for a 5k. We'll get into that a little bit later. For your average person, depending on your height, weight, everything, 30 minutes is the average for doing a 5k. And I think the rules still stay the same. This is where we're going into part 1 of the podcast, right? The rules for running 5k stay the same, and I still think it's fundamentally the same message which I would give to when I was making that video years and years ago, 2020. Which is very simple, right? Is that if you're going to do it, and I encourage people to do it, I encourage it as a way of people to get motivated. If you're going to do it, you have to fit your life around it. That's the very simple message, which I give everybody. You have to fit your life around this one. You have to say to yourself, I'm going to do it on the days which are prescribed by the app or by the system, and follow that and make that part of your life. And then to keep that up, you just have to keep doing that. I even have to say to myself within a week, I'm going to go do this. Nothing else can go in that space. And that's the simple rule, right? It also doesn't matter if you fail a day. That's the other part of that, which people seem to gloss over when they tell you about doing 5k, is that sometimes you fail. You know, I failed a couple of days, and you just keep going, you know? Do that day again. Do some days twice. If you get stuck in 1 week where you can't break what it's asking you to do in that 1 week, just delay the week. Do it again. But make sure you finish it out. Make sure you finish out that week, because that's incredibly important. And that will get you to 5k. I'm currently, actually, in the past year or so, And kind of the inspiration for this, the past year or so, I've been teaching a couple of friends to be able to run 5K. We have a small anti-run club. It's called the Anti-Run Club because we're against these weirdly egocentric run clubs which are dominating New York. We're the anti-run club. We do not enjoy running. We do it because it's healthy. We do it as a way to keep our heart health going and stamina and all those things. All the benefits that which come from running on the other side. Not too fussed about them. I don't look good running. I look like I'm dying when I'm running, and that's how people should look when they're running. You should look partially like you're dead inside, and that you hate every second of it. Who smiles when they run? Absolute madness. Who smiles when they run? If you smile when you run, there's something fundamentally wrong with you. I'm making a lot of enemies in this video. Back to my point. So, teaching people to run. It's fun. It's always fun. The problem is when you reach that goal, right? When you reach that 5K goal and your time, like I said, I wanted to run 30 minutes per hour is 30. I managed that. Then the time became the goal, right? The time became the thing which I wanted to bring down. I was like, I should get faster. Now, to myself, to my own credit, the main reason I wanted to get faster wasn't competitiveness of, I need to be the fastest man alive. I had to be Speedy Gonzalez. I had to be zapping all over the place. No, the reason I wanted to be faster was I wanted to be able to complete that exercise in a shorter amount of time so I could get back to the fun things which are involved in life and not the scary run things which are involved in life. So I pushed for it. I decided that I would limit that time. I would try to reduce that time as much as possible so I could just run, get it done, job done, out of the way. Now, any experienced exercise taker, I'm not an experienced exercise taker, will tell you the problem with that, Graham, is your body kind of gets used to it. Your body kind of gets used to just doing the run, right? Like, I got my time down quite significantly. I can do 5K in about 25 minutes now. And sometimes I say that, and I forget that that's not what everyone can do. And I don't say that to brag. I say that as I've gotten used to my own mentality. In the same way, doing 10,000 steps a day. Again, we're going on huge averages here, huge law-abiding averages. Doing 10K steps a day. To a lot of people, that's standard, right? That's the mobility of a day. That's getting up, that's walking around and going and doing things. You're bound to hit 10K if you have a lifestyle which requires you to walk at least 30 minutes. And even if that 30 minutes is spread out through the day, you're bound to hit that 10K. Because that's just average pace of people. But for other people, that's a huge ask. That's a big ask because... Jesus, can you hear that? Can you hear that? I'm going to take the risk and resume. Sirenus interruptus has subsided. So your body gets used to it. Your body decides, oh, this is the new standard. This is what we do now. And the reason which made me originally think of this is that it's been super snowy recently in New York. It's been super snowy, super blizzardy. We've had a lot of snow. It's been cold. That's the TLDR. Which means I haven't been running. I haven't been working out. I haven't been doing things. I've just been sat in my space with Casper, just chilling, thinking, wow, every day I lose a little bit. I lose a little bit of that time. I'm never going to be able to do that again. I'm never going to be able to get to 30 minutes again. And then we went for a run 2 weeks ago, and it was fine. We went for a run 2 minutes ago. And before the snow, I was trying to bring my time down. And that was also the other side of this topic, is that I've been trying to bring that time down so dramatically. I got it to 24, 23 minutes at one point. And I finished that run and I thought to myself, this is bad. I felt dreadful. I just ran probably the personal best. Something 30-year-old me had no idea was even possible of my body. Someone who would sit there and go, you ran 5K in 23 minutes? My God, Graham. Are you a gazelle? Do we need to hunt you? Are we out on the I'm sorry, I couldn't give you. Are we out on the Sahara? I don't know if there's gazelles in the Sahara. I don't know if that's accent's even appropriate. It speaks to a colonial past, which my skin colour are deeply known for subjugating a lot of people. That's right. I read both sides of my history, and then I put on a very posh accent and repeat things about it, which makes me sound academic. That's a topic for another time, completely. Because I can only say this in a jokey way. Discussing my intellect in serious capacity is something which I have to talk to my therapist about. But I felt this feeling. I felt this feeling of despondency. I'd done 5K, ran it, got to the end, and I felt dreadful. I felt like I'd failed, which is insane. Because to most people, that's a huge thing. To the majority of a lot of population, that's a huge thing. To like a subset of the population, that's nothing. That's pathetic. To people I run with, occasionally that's pathetic. But again, every time we do this, we run 5K. We do the run, and we think to ourselves, "Oh my God, yes, we did it. We got through. We survived. We did the thing which we couldn't have done 6 months ago, which is cool, which is a good thing." And I think it translates into the wider part of life. Right? This is why I'm coming saying this in videos in a few parts. If you want to run 5K, it is entirely doable. You just have to make time for it and follow a system. I do recommend Couch to 5K. But how does this apply to the wider world, Graham? How does this apply to, creation and pet ownership and love and violence and hate and writing and all these things? How does this apply? Well, I think my general message is we forget how good we are at doing things so often. It's insane. Human beings have this fucking goldfish memory for self-awareness. It's like we have no object permanence to our own ability. We don't. We were talking recently, a friend of mine, we were talking about cooking, and they were saying about like this meal, and they'd made this meal, and then it turned out slightly wrong, and they were disappointed about it. And I asked them what the meal was, and they said they were made of beef Wellington. And I was like, "Well, what was wrong with your beef Wellington?" And they were like, "Yeah, it's a little dry." And I was like, "Yeah, sorry, you made beef Wellington. It's one of the most complex meals of all time to get right, to get the meat to cook correctly, to get the pastry good, and you were disappointed by a minor point of it? Have you considered that some people don't know how to fry an egg? Like, some people don't know how to boil water. That's insanity that you're so disappointed with this, that you put the weight of the world on yourself for this. You're not competing at this on a national level. And even then, you're competing at that on a national level. Think about that. The Olympics is on right now. It's full of people winning these gold and silver medals, and why did I go from gold, silver, and then suddenly my brain stopped at bronze? Gold, silver, bronze medals. People competing in the top 10 capacity of the world, and then being disappointed by it. And I get that they are disappointed by it because they are on a world stage, thinking to themselves, "I have just messed up in front of everybody." I mean, I didn't try to cheat like that one guy with the I was gonna say shuttlecocks, hurley things. I didn't try to do that, but I failed on a calamitous scale, and that should be disappointing. Yeah, I mean, sure, on one point it is disappointing, but also you made it to the Olympics. You're in one of the biggest competitive things of all time. Most people wouldn't even dream of it, couldn't even dream of it, not capable of dreaming of it, because they don't know that version of themselves might exist in some capacity. That's all I'm really saying. And I do it with drawing. I draw all kinds of things, sketch things. I did a drawing the other day. Not happy with it at all. Not happy with it at all. Drew it, thought to myself, this is disappointing, Graham. This isn't what you're capable of. And that's the thing. That's the thing. We see... The problem is we every so often we get this glimpse of ourselves, of the best version of ourselves. And we think to ourselves, oh my God, that's a possibility. That's a possibility. So everything else I do is a disappointment. That's a possibility. And it's almost like hope ruins you. It's like hope takes you and suddenly sours every other thing which came before it. And it's because that forgets that it forgets the journey is the key, And it's because you've been through that cycle so many times. And you think to yourself, I don't want to go through that cycle again. I should just be able to just crank this out. Bake Off's a good example of that. People who kill at making cakes, people who are fantastic cake makers, just cranking out these majestic creations, and they mess up one time and they think, I'm the worst baker in the world. I'm like, I'm sorry, but you are not the worst baker in the world. And that reaction is disappointing at best. It's a conversation I had with myself quite often. And it's also why I bring you to the second technique, which will help you through doing things, right? It does apply to the Catch 5K, but it also applies to just general creation and general doing. I think there's two rules when doing any new skill, or even old skill, doing any skill, right? If you're having a bad time creating something, let's say you've written a prose poem, painted, did some drawing, sculpted, hunted, whatever you do. I said hunted because I have a cat near me and he occasionally likes to hunt and he messes it up. Sometimes he misses it completely. If you're doing that, you're having a bad time doing it, take a step back. Take a step back and go do something you know you're good at. I think this heavily applies to Inktober, if people try Inktober, or doing a 365. I've learned this a few times doing a 365. Is that if you're doing something where you're struggling on something which you think should be fundamental and should be incredibly easy, roll it back. Roll it back. Inktober is a great example of that. Every so often, when I've done Inktober, I've had a couple of drawings and I'd be like, this is bad. This is just a bad drawing. Don't like it. Don't like anything about it. Post it up because I'm weirdly self-destructive in that way. But post it up and then just leave it. And then the next day, no, the second one sucks. This one drawing too. And you become stuck. You're stuck in that rut. You're like, I should give up. I shouldn't be drawing. Why am I doing this? So then after that, the day after that, I choose to draw something I know I can draw. Right? Whatever it is. Whether it's like a hand, whether it's a ghost, whether it's just like a small little creature thing, not based on anything. I pick something. I pick something. I might even redraw something. Draw something which I knew I drew before. Something I was proud of. Something which got me and I got it. And we were sat there looking at each other, Paige and me, and we're like, you know what? We work. This just works, guys. Don't know if the audio got weird there. I was wafting my microphone about. And the same with painting. If I do a painting and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, this isn't working. I'm staring it down across the room. Like a dejected partner. Trying to break up, God. I'm sorry, painting. This just doesn't work for me anymore. We don't click like we used to. I feel like when we have breakfast, it's like having breakfast with a stranger, and honestly, I can't see the next 60 years of my life having breakfast with a stranger. So for that reason, I'm going to whitewash you with emulsion. If your breakfast ever goes like that, I'd be a little concerned. Don't whitewash your partners. So the next day, when I'm dealing with said painting, I will paint something I know how to paint. I'll do something with drips. I'll apply some concrete. I'll put some stucco on some pages, because that is what I know how to do, and that gives me a great sense of satisfaction. And then it reminds me, oh yeah, I know how to do that. I can do that. Let's go do that. And then we're back into it. So that's my first point. My secondary point on learning to do anything new, and I was thinking of doing a separate podcast on this, but I'm rolling into this one because who needs ideas? Ideas are infinite and time is a lie. It is a construct of man. I'm back to my Serengeti accent. I'm all over the place today. Right. My second thing is this. If you are teaching someone how to do something new, or if you're learning something new, you need to have some level of success early on. Right? You do. How you achieve that success is entirely up to you. How you get that success is entirely up to you. But if you have a student, and you have a friend, or you have someone fresh in your life, and they are trying to do something fresh and challenging to themselves, you need to allow them success early on. And if you're learning to do something, you need to allow yourself success early on. I think so often people find that if they dive into doing something, they dive in and they say to themselves, I'm going to do this, and I have a goal of doing this. I did this to myself. I tried to learn Blender so many times. If you don't know, Blender's 3D modeling program. I tried to learn Blender so many times, and every single time I do it, I fail at the very basic thing. Like, I fail at the simplest challenge within Blender. I can import something and make something appear, but I can't make the donut, guys. I just can't do it. And that's a me challenge. So I changed and did something else. But because I didn't see early success within Blender, and I've never seen early success within Blender, it's discouraged me. It's discouraged me from learning it. It made me find new ways around it. It made me find ways where I could 3D model and do other things, and that has been fun and enjoyable, and I had some early success with that. But I didn't continue with Blender because I didn't really have early success with it. When we were teaching people how to run, we did quite a few weeks beforehand where we didn't run to exhaustion. We ran to success. We ran to something which we thought we could do. We wanted to see where the bar was, to be like, hey, you can run for a minute. You can run for 2 minutes. Congratulations. You can run a whole kilometer. You can run 2 kilometers. Congratulations. This is really good. Now we got to push it. Now we got to push away from it. So then you can always come back to the success. People learning to bake. People dive in, say, I'm going to make a beef Wellington. Don't know why beef Wellington's on the brain today. It's just on the brain today. I'm going to make a beef Wellington. No, don't. Make a brownie. Brownies are wicked. And they're super easy. That's just the truth. I'm going to make some brownies today. But that's just the reality, and that's the truth of it. You kind of got to... You need that early success, as I say. So then you have something to roll back to and think about and go, actually, no, I can do this. Or at least I can do a level of this. And now I need to figure out what doesn't work and why I failed and why those things changed. That's the basic message. So this is a little bit of a retrospective. It's a little bit of a retrospective on the Couch to 5K. I still say apologies to Sarah Milliken. I swore at her an awful lot doing that 5K initially. These days, I like to think of her at the end of a run. I like to think of her sat there at the end, handing me a biscuit. That would be lovely. Sarah Milliken, if you ever watch this and you want to just meet me at the end of a run, wicked. Hell, I'll go for a run with you. I don't know if you actually run, but they used your voice for Couch to 5K, and therefore, we're all on board with it. So that's the challenge. That's the goal. That's how you get through learning something new. That's how you get through learning Couch to 5K. Because it's a very odd position to be in, that when you can do something which would impress a younger you, you're still disappointed in yourself. When you attempt something which most people can't do, and you complete it, and you're still disappointed in yourself, because it's not up to your hope version of yourself. For sure, for some people, that's motivation. That's ambition. That's competitiveness with self. But it's also a good way to ruin your self-esteem. It's also a good way to not want to continue, not want to improve. So if you give yourself a little bit of early success, it gives yourself somewhere to roll back to. It helps you progress to the next stage. Reminds you that you can do it. And you're capable of growth. Because the first time you did it, you weren't doing anything at all before that. I want to know what you're learning about right now. I want to know what hobbies you're trying out. I want to know what's challenging you. And what you need to remind yourself that you can do every so once in a while. Let me know in the comments. Until then, I'll talk to you guys later.